All right, here we go. Oh, I was fading in like a pro and then I hit the wrong camera. Hey there, everybody. Good morning. I'm here with my brother Ben. Here we are.
Good day,
Hey.
good day.
And
Como estamos, everybody?
he is watching the chat, watching the conversation, and he's gonna make sure everybody gets heard. Every single person is
That's
going
right.
to get
If
heard.
you say something, I'll know. I'll know.
That's it. We're looking at work today. See, I've got an email inbox. Well, I got my computer up on the live stream. See, this is the email share@muraljoe.com. This is where you share your work. See, Jonathan has shared some work. Let's look at it right now. Here, hang on. Let me close some things here. Let me shrink Ben. It's kind of in the way.
Shrinking down.
Okay, for example.
Davis, what's up? Tom, what's up? Good to see you guys.
Please critique. All feedback welcome. What would make this more professional? Okay, check this out. Jonathan's got a cool picture here. We'll look at it more. We don't have to dig into it deep right now, but this is Jonathan's. I know some context about this. This is a rendering for a mural idea. And his idea is to make a flower so big that it's actually one of the native flowers of the area, and to make it a piece of the landscape itself. I thought it was a pretty clever idea, and I think his perspective is very dynamic. What do y'all think of this? Yeah,
that's cool, man. Huge flower petals.
Yeah, and I think he did this fantastic job of making it look huge, like landscape size.
Right. It looks maybe the size. That's like 2 square miles of flower, if I had to put a number on it.
Yeah, I agree. Looks huge. Great work. And there's some other things done really well here. He's got good contrast for the white. It's hard to make a white look like a real shade of white in a mural when you're getting greedy with all your highlight colors. Greedy as in making everything real bright, because then white looks kind of gray. So he did a good job keeping it dark enough that it's white. Looks nice and bright. We got a little valley coming down right here. That's cool. Man, I don't know what I would do with that. I honestly don't know. Maybe so we try.
Get a hang glider and float across it and just look down on it and think to yourself, what an enormous, beautiful flower.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Do we got any? There's not really many clouds in the sky, but I think that would add some interest if you added some clouds in there, and the clouds are casting shadows on the petals. That would be really neat. Yeah, it kind of looks like these. This, I don't know if this is an additional flower or a okay. I can see this is the petal flipping up, and we're seeing the underside of that. All right, Jonathan, if you get on this live stream, you got to comment and tell me if I got this wrong. But this looks to me like you've got the petal coming up, and we're seeing the underside. This is kind of where it flips up toward us. And if that's the case, then I would incorporate some translucent glow colors in there. Why don't we tinker with this? Might as well. So we'll do a lot of this tinkering with paintings on this live stream. Send in your work to share@muraljoe.com. It'll come to my email, and then I'll open up my app and plug it in, draw on it.
I've also got some interest in learning about perspective. So maybe you could tell us what's working about the perspective in this thing.
That's a good idea.
What you think about that?
Okay.
Okay, that's a good perspective, and Leanne agrees. That's an interesting subject here.
Yeah. Okay. So we did a live stream a little while back, really digging into perspective. So I wonder if it's possible to get like, what is an especially interesting. There's a lot to talk about with perspective. So maybe we could get more specific. So since I recently was diving into that subject. I definitely don't feel like I covered it all, but
Well, here's what is interesting to me about perspective, just to give you something to chew on. I don't know if this is useful to anybody
let's
else.
hear it.
Maybe you can tell me, but what's interesting about perspective to me is how easily it's moved. You know?
Okay.
How
All right,
how shifty it is, you know. And I'm talking about perspective in the way you just view things in general, you know.
yeah. Okay.
We become like rooted in our perspective, you know. We become like convinced that it's static, that this is the way things are, because it's just the way they are from where we see them. But
yeah,
how easily things appear differently when you move, you know.
right. Okay, that makes sense. So, you know, it's like it's kind of like a real sensitive dial, kind of like a steering wheel in a fast moving car can be perspective, if I'm hearing you right.
Yeah, I suppose I'm just saying it's important to understand how malleable it is.
Yeah. Right, and it is. I agree with that. Very malleable. Well, and especially when you are tweaking things that are far away toward a horizon. So, like for example, if I move these little cloud shadows I put on these pedals up or down back here, this little tiny up or down really changes the distance. Here in the foreground, a little bit of up or down movement doesn't really have a huge effect on it.
Is this Jonathan's work here?
This is Jonathan's work. Yeah, I wanted to see what it'd be like if I threw in some cloud shadow. I don't know if it's going to work, but I thought maybe it'd be cool if we did some cloud shadows. I'm going to blur this one because it's closer. You know, we're on 2 square miles, so this can be a little cloud shadow. You know,
I guess I just think that it's important to think about your perspective, because if your stuff looks weird, you know, I think about life. You guys know me. If you're looking at your life's perspective, the only reason to care is like, yeah, it's not profound. Yeah, perspective is malleable. You take 5 steps that way, everything looks different.
Yeah,
everybody knows that, but I think it's important to realize that if you're in a situation where it looks funny from where you are, and you're not exactly sure why, you know, people are acting strange. Your life isn't going the way you want. You feel off, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a perspective issue.
Man, I agree with that. I think that's very true.
Maybe it's not an object issue. Maybe it's not a circumstances issue. Maybe it's a perspective issue, much like your painting, you know?
Yeah.
Like maybe stuff's just looking wonky from where you are, or it's not jiving with perspective, and it could use some attending to, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Man, I agree with that.
Anyways, Jonathan says, good morning, all. Oh no, I was late, and he started with mine.
Well, you know, I'm not doing anything super serious here. I just was tinkering with it. I was wondering what it'd look like if I threw in some shadows, you know? Here's I like that idea. Perspective is always very fun for me. My fear is that I'm boring people when I get it. It's kind of like a subject that enthusiast nerds out on. If you're like me and you spend most of your waking moments thinking about shapes and colors, then I fear that I burn people out getting too deep into the subject of perspective. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny. You're afraid you burn people out. Well, I'm the one that burns out my brothers. Too far, too deep, too long, too intense. Imagine being the guy that burns out the public, and then you meet the guy that burns out that guy. That's me.
No, that's not true.
I was on the phone with one of our brothers the other day, and we started talking, and it got super intense for way too long. And then it was just like, well, I don't want to talk about that anymore. I was like, okay, I don't blame you.
Okay, I get it. Right. Yeah, but that happens to all of us. You know, like that's happened to me a million times too. I don't think you're alone in that.
And Leanne reminds you that we are enthusiasts here. So
Yeah,
bored.
okay, thanks, Leah. I just need that little bit of reassurance is nice. I appreciate it. I just want to
Do you
know.
know the title of the video on perspective you did on YouTube so people could reference it?
It was a live stream. Let's find it. All right, let's go here. Let's open up YouTube real quick, and we're gonna go to. If you go to, actually, we can do this. You go to you not my YouTube. Go to youtube.com/MiralJoe/live. This link will take you to all the live videos on the page. Whoa, we got feedback. Sound. Whoa, we got feedback. Sound. Whoa, we got feedback. Sound. Whoa, we got feedback.
Hey, this
Whoa.
is fun.
Whoa, that's
guys, there's a
awesome.
lesson in perspective.
That's awesome.
As you can see,
we're not doing that.
further
Close that window.
and further into the matrix.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
We lost
just
your,
conclude your daily lesson.
Yeah.
Beware.
That had audio on it, so I couldn't.
Rubberistic, guys.
We got a feedback loop when I was opening YouTube, so I couldn't do that. So it's just a few live streams back. You got to click through the live streams. I'll find it
Stuck
on
in
there.
the feedback loop. Move your perspective, guys. Move it.
Yep. We can't be doing that. Oh man, I lost your video, Ben. We don't see you. So you got it working.
No, I
on
just
you?
turned it off.
Oh, okay, right. Because there's nothing to look at. I got it. I just want to make sure we're not broken.
It's super boring.
Okay, I'm gonna find that later. I'm gonna find that link for you, but it's just a few live streams ago. Okay, my goal here with Jonathan's is to add cloud shadows, because here's the thing: in visual art, more than one thing telling the same story is, I've said it a million times, but I like to repeat it because it's been powerful in my work. More than one thing telling the same story makes it feel more real. That's it.
I think we're looking at the back of your head, Joe.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Here, I meant to be on this screen. Thanks for telling me. See, that's what we got Ben here for. All right.
Doing what I can.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm lightening. This doesn't need to be done, Jonathan, in your work. I'm lightening this strategically just to make the shadows that are kind of on the left stand out. You could go either way. You could just put a darker shadow and not do this lightening. I just did it so that it would look like there was kind of a shadow here. I don't know if I really aced that task, but I was just trying to make a shadow meet up with this shadow and then make these here. Okay, two things telling the same story. Let me show you what I mean. So right now, this light and shadow relationship is telling us that the petal has ripples. And then I was lazy and I just blasted a shadow over the top of it. And so we've got this part telling us there's ripples, but this part is not. However, our imagination does fill in the blanks. If we zoom out, it's like, oh, well, it just doesn't show up because it's in a shadow. But it becomes so much more powerful if I grab this color right here. It's lighter than the shadow, but darker than the neighboring highlight. Okay, so I just grab that off the edge and I draw these ripples back in like this. Okay, we're going to draw some ripples in there. Okay, let's smear this one. So now these ripples are darker so that they're still in the shadow. Now we have the shadow telling the same story. Okay, could have been done better. Here,
Ian says they love how the flower looks really white by using the green and the shading. They've had problems in the past painting white petunias and trying to make them look like really white ones.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, Jonathan did a great job of that. That goes back to that. I was mentioning that near the beginning, that painting dark enough to let your whites look white is an important aspect of doing whites. Okay, I'm not really acing this task here. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter and make that highlight brighter. This is just for the sake of seeing the shadow. I wouldn't want this to be mistaken for what Jonathan needs to do to his work. We're not trying to do that. This is experimenting. Okay, so that's what I mean when we have more than one thing telling the same story. This looks more like a shadow on the petal when the texture is communicated both by the shadow and by the lighter, by the two color sets. Where if I just have a constant thing, it just kind of looks like a paint. It looks less convincing. Let's just say less. Okay, here's another thing. Let's put some translucent color in this. If we swatch this color right there, and then we shift it, okay? It's a blue. Let me think of this. White gets a little brown. How are we going to make that more brown? Let's go all the way to gray. I want to see what this looks like. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now watch this slight color change. Since this is the underside of this petal. Well, Jonathan, I'm sorry if it's not the underside. I think that it's the underside. I want you to see how this subtle color change can make this feel like the underside more so than that bluish color that collects the color from the sky. So the bluish color in shadows and landscapes typically is from the light bouncing off of the sky. So if we have light shining through these petals, then we could expect to see a translucent glow. So now let's take that color, make it a little more yellow, add a little more color to it. Maybe go over to the yellow zone right there. Okay. And we're going to get some light. Let's go a little darker, a little darker. Okay, there we go. There's a translucent glow color. We're going to put it between the shadow and the light. I can't get too bright or it'll compete with the upward facing portions of it. So let's smear this out. Let's do some blending right here. Okay, so what I did was I made this turning more yellowish as it gets lighter, where I want light to look like it's coming through the petals instead of bouncing off. Okay, there we go. Let's smear that, and then we need to maybe just like cover this whole thing, make these undersides, make it darker right there, make it darker right here. There we go. Let's see how that looks. What do you think? I mean, it's not my best ever. I think I've said that about 5 times on this project. Not my best ever. We're gonna make it good. Here, let's smear
Most
this
days
out.
are like that, man.
Some days are like that. Yeah. Okay, so what I want everybody to do is flex your imagination to see my work as good as I say it is. Okay, this is the right way to paint a picture. And if you don't see it as the right way, then it's your eyes that are broken. Isn't that how art lessons make us feel sometimes?
Hey, Mavis found the perspective lesson. It's 1 month ago. It's titled Saturday Morning Live Perspective.
Nice. Perspective, yeah, all on perspective. But it doesn't mean we can't revisit that. We talked about a lot there, and I thought, well, is there some good follow-up to do? Okay, now I'm going to make this bright because this is on the top side, really make it stand out there. Okay, all I'm doing is just experimenting with what would it look like if we really made this look like it was kind of flipping up in the foreground, right? And so I just kind of boosted the brownish colors in there like a yellow, because things turn toward, not to, but toward yellow as light comes through them more and more. And so I just used that pattern to make those look, now that it looks like undersides. See what I mean? Like the undersides are flipping up that petal. We'll lay off of this picture now. I was just having a little bit of fun. Let's see if somebody else
we got into your thing there, man.
Yeah, we did. Okay, wait. Here's another fun thing to do. Let's put a shadow under
Get
these
more
pillars.
into it. Hold up.
We're getting more into it. This is the last thing. Seriously, for real, for real.
We're
This
gonna
is the
erase
last.
this whole half of it.
I'm going more gray because more gray is going to look more blue. Okay, we'll go more gray and more blue. Whoops.
Today on Mural Joe Live, we butcher your images.
That would be a good
Share
one.
at muraljoe.com. We're live
Yeah.
butchering on the internet.
I think you might be onto something. That could be cool.
Slice and dice.
Yeah, it'd be a good spoof video to pretend like you're fixing things, but every single one is so bad.
Is that worse?
Yeah. I want to see what it'd be like if we put a bluish shadow in here. Okay, we got a shadow there. Let's put one there. There we go. What if you did that? Huh? Make it lift off a little bit. Just in the foreground. We don't need it way in the back. Let's put it here too. Jonathan, you did a great job on this. It's hard for me to say improve it this way or that way because honestly, it's very well done. The perspective looks awesome. So those are more like ideas than like how to make it better. I'm contributing ideas, so take it at your discretion. Let's go on.
Joe's an idea guy.
Yeah, I like ideas. Let's see if somebody else sent something in. Thanks for that, Jonathan. That's cool. Ryan sent something in, a baby otter, and we're gonna look at it. Let's click on that picture. Nice, very square head. Otters have square heads. Look at that. I like analyzing the shape of different creatures' head. Look how square. I mean, they really do have very squarish heads. Look, it looks just like his painting. It really is. Just,
yeah.
I
thought it was a photo.
My buddy down in Florida says those things are dangerous. You know they'll beat up your dog. He says they're tough. Okay, we're gonna go back to that. Yeah. All right, nice picture, man. That is cool. Good job. Good job with that painting. I like it. I like the deep, colorful browns beneath the lighter outside. Gives the fur depth. High contrast on those dark black eyes. I like that little reflection glow. Really nice. It looks like he's maybe cracking open a mussel there. He's got a mussel in his hand. Getting a little bit of breakfast. Nice. That's very nice. Thanks for sharing this, Ryan. Thank you very much. If anybody has specific questions and if you want input on your picture, let me know because this is a beautiful painting and I don't want to take the liberty to say, now here's what you need to change about it. It's not like that. I don't want to do that. But here's what I would change about it. Here's what I would add to it. Let me show you something. All right, we are conflicted people. Let's go like this. We're going to reload that. Colordriver.com is where you can tinker with this same app. All right, let's put this otter in. I only want to, I added this function. This is kind of cool. You can now when you save it, you can save at the size that you imported. If you say match image dimensions down here and hit enter, then you still have to center the picture. I probably need to adjust that. So center it, hit the set button, and then you have the full size image. If you actually had an image that meant something to you that you wanted to save, like you did a color edit on it. Okay, I only want to show you the difference it makes if we blend these colors. I'm just going to blend here. The top edge of your reflection, I'm going to get a bigger stroke. We're going to blend the top. Let me get a little bit bigger. Horizontal lines. Now I'm focusing on blending the top edge. Hang on a second. Let's do average light. I'm looking for a mixing mode. Hang on. That one will work. Okay, let's undo this. Okay, this is trying to get a less turquoisey color. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to blend the top edge of that, And I want to show you how it changes the perspective of this water. If I blend the top edges, it'll make those waves roll back on the water, and where it has the potential to look a little bit flat if you put sharp edges on that top lighter portion of a wave. So here's like a reflection on top of a wave. I'm going to blend that top edge, blend it out. Okay, the top edge, matters more than the bottom. You can blend all of it, but I just wanted to show how blending that top edge makes it swoop back onto the water that's behind it. I'm just pulling this reflection color off of the edge, blending it out, blending it upward. So that upward blending can give you more three-dimensional water. Let's go down here and do it. Let's blend this. So you've got it blended real nicely downward below, but I would reverse that and go up next. Okay, right here. There we go. Now I'm going to throw in a little bit of foreground reflection here, because we got that nice little otter face. And I think it would be cool to take that little otter face and make a reflection. So we want underwater color plus this. So I'm gonna get this color. All right, we're gonna get maybe like something that's kind of an average. Use that color. Now it's mixing with blue, so I'm gonna make it more gray. So let's just go all the way gray. That seems like a good option. And let's go darker, because we want it to look like here, let's go. That's confusing having it be red. Even though it's completely gray, this color is irrelevant, but we're just using it for darkness. Okay. This is a foreground reflection, so that's different than doing a reflection that's far away. What's different is the angle. So again, a perspective issue on reflection and color is that we have more of the underwater color visible when something's close to us. So you've already established that you've got sky. I'm sorry, I went over your signature. I defaced your painting. I apologize for that. All right. So here's a cool thing that happens. Let's get this darker color and swatch this. We go here and let's make that completely gray too. So as it rolls, as the angle rolls to the sky reflection color, it's going to show the top of Otter's head before it shows the sky, right? Because that's just the three-dimensional order. So we can put this dark line here, kind of wrap it around like that. Then we can do it again because the wave rolls the other way. So this might be like a full reflection of Otter that shows the top as it rolls one direction, shows it again as it rolls the other direction on its way to showing the sky. This is a fun reflection pattern to get a nice glassy reflection of water. Isn't that cool? So you can just make those outlines. Now, if I smear that and I make the colors look like they're very blended with the blue water color that's chosen, we're going to smear this so it's not just my crude, messy edges, you know? So we're just going to pretend like this looks like your otter. But see, it's a scrunched, distorted image. When you get ripples, this is the pattern that they roll. Okay, there we go. See, isn't that fun? Isn't it fun to make reflection like that?
I think it worked.
Yeah. All right, that's a win. I got a win under my belt for the live stream.
See an otter body in that water.
Yeah. All right, I put the dark color, but you know, that dark color really kind of makes sense more if there was like a dark top to the otter. Here, let's further butcher the picture. So this, if your otter was like this is an if. I'm not telling you to do this. If it was like this.
Round Brush says it's otter nice.
Ah, nice. He's always good for a clever comment.
This
there.
Guy.
If it were like that, that dark line I made would make more sense. I just I just wanted to show how the shadows flip and make these rings in the reflection as they reflect. But you know what I did? I made this is a classic error in reproducing the pattern. Okay, sorry, we need more time on this because you just witnessed me have a lapse of reason here. The reflection happens on the reflection area, and I totally reversed it. So if it skips an area, so like this is where the water is tipping back to reflect more. I mean, we could say that it is anyway. And so it makes more sense for that reflection to be on that area. Let's do it right there. Look, right there. This is where it would occur. I don't want to mislead people. Okay, so this is where the reflection really should occur, is where you already have the reflection happening right there. Now let's get the other color. We're going to go like this, and we're going to lighten it. Let's go like right there. Zoom in. Okay, reflection, reflection, reflection. Two things telling the same story. So that previous reflection was like half right. Now, right, not as in the right way to paint a picture. That it's how accurately I've reproduced nature's pattern. That's all I'm saying. And it's totally your artistic decision. I never want to tell people what they should be painting or what they should include, but this pattern is very specific because it's based on angles. And I broke one of the things that I preach all the time. One of the patterns I preach all the time is how we put reflection on the reflection area, not on the non-reflection area. Okay, so that's where it would naturally be occurring, is right there. So like this is where it's rolling from otter to sky to otter to sky as it reflects these images. So then this would be sky right on the edge of the otter. This would be sky right on the edge of the otter, and it can make these ring-like patterns. So it's something that can be incorporated, you know, for maybe like a more tricked out painting. We don't need that signature on there. Might as well be mine. Let's just cross that signature.
Just sign it.
Rude. What if that was what if that's what I did when I did these, sign my name on it instead of
cool show you got here, Joe.
Okay. I just wanted to show you get the glassy ripples. Okay. All right. Ben, do you concur? We've got some glassy ripples on the wall. Yeah. Okay.
I can imagine his little otterly body down in there.
Yeah. Utterly amazing.
Little feet kicking.
I stole round brushes joke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's look at another. Okay, perspective. Let's talk about perspective. How about we got the inbox waiting for me here. There's nothing in it. We're ready to talk about perspective. This is all you need to know about perspective. It's almost like I knew I was going to be using a whiteboard today.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is also the time of holidays and New Year's resolutions. And change.
Yeah. Yep.
They're all themes of the time. Just
throwing
things at you.
Nostalgia.
Your fire.
Nostalgia is pretty heavy in the air. You know,
I spent the morning researching if my childhood baseball cards are worth anything.
Nice. I lost mine, and
upon realizing that they're utterly worthless for anything other than nostalgia, myself,
like you did your part. You saved them.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm a little disenchanted now. You know.
Yeah. Right. Man. Okay. I'm gonna do the basis. Is that what's got your tone a little bit lower than usual, Ben? Is baseball cards? Is that it?
I'm really upset about it. You know?
Because you're doing better than me. I totally lost all mine.
You
It's
said
pretty
baseball
amazing what you
cards?
have. Oh yeah, we all collected them back in the 90s.
Dude, I got a whole box of stuff in my closet. I
I
just
was
like to
all
set on
excited
fire.
that I had a
Is that
Greg Jeffrey.
bothersome? I
What'd you
mean, is
say?
that like worry? Is that cause for worry that I want to set my stuff on fire?
No, I set stuff on fire all the time. I love. We ceremoniously burned uh, a sentimental thing when we moved out of our house in our previous neighborhood
Oh, that's a good idea.
because it's cool. You know, it's like a meaning. Actually, I was at a solstice festival last night, and we were burning things in the fire. You know, it was like it's kind of a good feel. Now we weren't like burning Bibles. It wasn't that kind of an event. Okay.
Yeah.
We weren't burning meaningful things. Like burning in the way of like sending our intentions up and into the air. It's fun. It was fun. And we had like this powder you threw into the flame and it's real colorful. All right.
Yeah. Well, I can't figure out if I would prefer to like surround myself with all the memories of my life or if I'd like to embrace that it all just goes away and like live in harmony with that reality.
Yeah. Right. I hear you. All right.
Anyway, it's 40 something nonsense.
I know. I think a lot of people relate to that 40 something nonsense. All right, we're gonna switch gears for a moment and talk about some. This is my simplest take on why perspective exists and matters. This is like the influence, where the influence comes from. Things get smaller as they get further away. It's based on angles. So here, light travels on straight lines in all directions. Only the light that hits a particular target gets perceived. I used to wonder, if light's going everywhere all the time, how is it that our eyes collect it and get a sharp image instead of just getting an average of all light coming? Because it's coming from everywhere all the time. Well, it's because the round lens discriminates. The round lens of an eyeball, we're going to make this person just one big eyeball. This person is an eyeball. Okay, so it discriminates the angles. So only light from a particular angle can pass all the way through the sensor at any given little point, so that you have this, you have all the sensors, just like a screen, all these sensors, and the light comes in and it doesn't collect light from all different angles. It collects light from a one angle, one pixel, so to speak, on the sensor, gets light from one angle. And that's the beauty of the invention of the eyeball. So we have the angles changing the size, and this is why. Because here we have what Ben would call the field of view. It could be any size. We could change the field of view to, I just picked one. It could be this wide, it could be this wide. But if we take an object and move it back, then it's changed relative to a constant field of view that's coming to us from a straight line. See, this light's coming to us from a straight line. At this distance, this rectangle is roughly half the height of the field of view, roughly, And so then we go, it's just a rule of triangles, just really simple. If we go half that distance, right here, then this is now 100% the size of that same field of view. So we can say from that, twice the distance, one time the distance, two times the distance, twice the distance equals half the size. Because in the field of view, like a person doesn't have a changing field of view size. It is the edge of your vision. It's your peripheral vision. You've got your field of view is just that frame. But as an object moves closer or further, it's changing the amount of that frame it takes up. Well, this is why. So we go twice as far again. Once again, it's going to be half as big as it was. So if we went twice as far as this distance, then let's go one time the distance right here. Now let's go again, roughly that far. Put the rectangle in there, and it's just basic math. Once again, we go twice as far as this. If this was half, then this is going to be half the size. That means it needs to be at a, if that's 1/2 and it gets twice as small, that makes it at a 1/4. But that doesn't make sense, right? Half times half. Let's adjust. Let's doctor this to make my claim look right. Dude, I'm confused right now. Wait, hold on. 1, 2. Oh yeah, 3, 4. Oh, it's 1/4. 1/2, 1/4. Okay. It tricked me. So if we add these, did my audio just get staticky, Ben?
No.
It didn't. It did on my end. I got a static. Is anybody else hearing that? I don't want to do a live stream with a bunch of bad audio.
No.
You're not hearing that?
You sound great. I switched my audio because a couple people said I was too quiet. So
switch it back. Let's see if there's on my end. It's getting all. It's got that. I think that's coming through on the live stream. Let me turn you up. No, Ben, why you were too quiet is because I have your volume down. Go back to what you were and let me fix. That was my mistake. That was my fault. Okay, give us a sound check.
Check.
Yeah, that's it. It's definitely your mic. Can you go back to the other mic? Is that possible? It did the it put that static in there. Okay, so this is the premise. Man, my brain just got boggled thinking about this. This is just goes to show I'm just an artist that wasn't meant to think a lot about math. All we want to know from this is that it's true. This is the main thing. All right, do we have you on board, Ben?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorting out the sound here.
Okay. You sort out that sound. I'm going to continue with this. All right. Thanks. Things don't always go as smooth as we want them to. All right. So I'm going to just turn that off. Hang on a second. That's that sound. There. I muted Ben on the live stream for the moment. When that sound gets better, we'll bring it back. So then what this makes true is some important things. You know, we can understand that perspective is all based on angles and ratios. So here's a rule that comes out of it. If we have a horizon and we have ourselves, you know, we're just going to put ourselves in this position, looking out at the horizon, contemplating the meaning of life. Let's do this. There we go. And, you know, you're like, I wonder what it's like to be human. Okay, contemplating the meaning of life. Looking out at the horizon, we've got a little sunset here. You know, might as well make it a little bit fun on the artistic side. Okay, looking out at the water. Okay, this is the beach right here. All right, now we're looking out at something else. Okay, and as it gets further away, I like putting the head on the horizon because we can look at this simple rule. So we go like this. We put another person, character, further away, floating on the water. So what we have here is we have the eye level staying the same while we have the size shrinking, because, you know, like this is the middle, so that height doesn't change, but the size shrinks. It went to 1/2 because that's the easiest. So we're going to put, they're on a surfboard. That's why they're standing on the water. Okay, so we can say this, if these two things are actually the same size, they're the same size, then this one is twice as far from me, not from this person. This is twice as far from me as this person. So we go like this. Watch. Here's our triangle. We're just going to go zoop, zoop, make a point. We're going to go make this triangle feet to triangle. We're going to make a straight line. And so this is why, because this the distance to the triangle. It's at halfway to the point of the triangle. It's that same basic triangle math. It's not complicated. So when we put something higher toward the horizon, it gets further away. It gets smaller. So it goes like that. And so this person is twice as far as this one. And that's a helpful thing to understand. All right, so then we can say from that, we can draw this other helpful conclusion that every time we go halfway to the horizon, so here's feet, okay, here is our starting point. It's just any point you pick to start. Halfway to the horizon, because the horizon's here, is 2 times the distance that it was. And that's really helpful when you're trying to get a seascape to look natural, a landscape to look natural, a field, anything where you want increasing distance to look natural. Every time you cut that distance in half, let's cut it in half again. Let's go like this. Let's bring this line over halfway to the horizon. Okay, now we've got another person out here surfing a big wave like this. Okay, not the best wave I ever drew. This person's surfing it. Okay, this person is now twice as far as this person because it's halfway to the horizon from this one, twice as far as this one. So here's what happens. Let's clear up the canvas so this all makes sense. If we go like this, and we say right here is a person, let's put our person standing in perspective. Let's try to draw a more natural looking person. Okay. Person, oh, that's a little big. Here's my go-to method for drawing people. We do this, then we do this, we do this, then we do this, this. Shoes, standing on the beach, arms, elbow goes at the line, like this. Okay, hands go down there, right about that high. Elbow goes to the line right there. Shoulders, neck, head, any size. There we go. Now we got a person of ordinary proportions. We need their head at horizon. Okay. Eye level. We're looking out. So this distance right here, if me as the viewer, I want it to feel like this person is 20 meters away from me. Okay, I'm just gonna say that, all right, this is 20 meters away. I'm gonna, size objects in my picture as though, it feels like that. I don't know how you would do that, but it's just a point to start with. Okay, so at this height, halfway to horizon, we're gonna say this is now 40. This one is 40. Okay, we're going to cut it. You're like he's pulling out numbers.
Say something.
Okay. I had your audio muted. I had it.
Oh, well, even better. I should have just known.
Right. That static noise was there, and I just muted it while you're getting it worked out. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. All right. Okay, 40. Now we're going to double it, 80. And what I want to show is we're not trying to memorize numbers like that. That doesn't feel good. But I just want to show we're all familiar with the exponential increase when you did I do that math right? Is that 320, 80, 160? I'm not hired for my math. So if I do it wrong, then you can correct it. Okay. This is going to be 640 right here. I was okay. So we get up to thousands. When we're doing this area here, every time we go halfway to the horizon, the distance doubles from the number below it based on that first initial triangle. And where that is helpful in a picture is because you understand that if I have roughly 4 waves visible, let's put some waves in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just going to call those waves, we're going to go like this, make them nice and horizontal. 4. Okay, then when I get up to the next one, see, if 40 to 80, that's a span of 40 has 4, then a span of 80 needs to have 8, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
let's make sure we put 8. Now we're just saying height-wise, distance to horizon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm trying to make roughly 8 as we go up, you know, without putting them directly on top of each other because that looks funny. But look at the hard time I'm having as they get stacked. Okay, go like this. They get real close together. So this is why I talk so frequently about squishing things. Okay, now I need to fit not 8, but 16 in a space that is only half the height. So now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't do it. So what I'm going to do is, since I can't do that, is just put them really, really close together. So this is why you can really, this is how you can really quickly make a perspective that looks believable and natural is, well, when it comes to basic landscape perspective, is understanding just how extremely squished together all these. I've understated it because if it were literal, we need to have a huge number in those last few segments that I did. All right, we can hear Ben typing there. We got a lot of keyboard using.
I'm typing away.
Okay.
Looks like orange Schindler, struggling with math, but you know.
Okay, I'm going to erase these lines.
Don't
Well,
we all? But Mavis says, what makes Joe a great teacher is that I feel inspired to think about these things.
okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, but here's the takeaway.
Hearing about your musings because you so deeply ponder things that most of us just accept at face value without considering why. That's why they say you're such a great artist.
Thank you. That's a very nice compliment. Thank you very much. So whenever I just whip out a horizon and a landscape real quick, I just have this basic I'm not thinking about these numbers. I'm just familiar with the look of that gradient. Okay, so how very quickly all of the texture gets squished. It's not a constant rate. You know, it's an exponentially increasing rate of squishing. And so this, you know, this little strip that goes through the horizon is real important. And it can offer so much information to a picture if you're able to make that perspective look good. So here's what the opposite looks like. Let's put them next to each other. So if you're not familiar with that exponential increase, then you might go to a painting and put waves in here. Okay, and we're going to make them get further apart for sure, because we understand that things get smaller and flatter as they get further, but maybe we're not as familiar with that exponential increase. And so we're making smaller, further things, but it's just not as extreme. And so it's not being a stickler about the details it's just understanding how far away I am from how extreme that pattern of change is to get a surface, to get the angles to represent that natural perspective right there. Okay, so if you want to make a thing closer far, let's make a sea monster. And if we make a sea monster coming out of the water way back there, but this sea monster is huge. Let's fix the perspective. Okay, fix the perspective. We need a whole bunch in here. Okay, and then it's going to get further apart. We're going to make it roughly match the neighboring piece. Okay, really horizontal, really squished. Careful not to make any sloping lines as we're out there. All right, there we go. Now we're going to put a sea monster coming out like this. Okay, and sea monster swirls his neck like this, and swirls his neck again like this, and he's right here and says, hi there. Hi there, you. Okay, sea monsters coming out of the water. So what I want to point out with this is the extreme change. The extreme change. Yeah. Percentage of distance. It's the percentage of change. So you are at an extreme distance change from head to where it comes out of the water way back here on the horizon. So obviously the size change is very extreme on this object. All right. So then if we go back to our side view, that can happen with a tiny thing that's close. So let's say that you are an eyeball. Okay, there we go. You're an eyeball looking sideways, and you have light coming into your eye at these angles like this. It's going to go to a point somewhere. I mean, I don't know all the mechanics of how it's processed. I just am familiar with the angle relationships.
When's knowing really that valuable?
Yeah, right. What do we know? I'm interested in what makes a difference in my work. So these angle relationships are what I'm after. So if something is very small, okay, so let's say that you're looking at a small nightstand next to a bed. All right, we're going to put legs on it, and we're going to put this little lamp in there like this. There we go. Okay, so the perspective of on the nightstand, you have a sea monster, because you like sea monsters, and it's going like this, and then it goes like this, because okay, it's one of those glass sculpture sea monsters. Okay, like this. I tried to do the same shape that we have now. Physics of our world is never going to let that stand on its own if the base is here. So I'm going to have to put like a wire support stand right there, because we need things to work in whiteboard world. Okay, now these are roughly the same size, the width of the roughly this and this. However, this distance right here, this distance causes this head to take up, I'm going to estimate this as a quarter of the field of view. You know, it's just an estimation. Okay, then this distance to the tail, right there, that distance right there causes this to take up, we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If it's 9 that way, let's say it's 5 that way. Let's say we've got 15. It's 1/15 of the field. It's just an arbitrary number. It's a lot bigger than this one. So this is what causes that shape that I previously drew. This is a tiny object. The one on the beach maybe was perceived to be a huge object, but Ben, you pulled out that footage that blew my mind of that special camera that makes it look like you're in Legoland, kind of. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, tilt shift.
Yeah, right. Yes, it's weird thing. But whether something is very close, it's that difference in distance from your view that causes that. So this is where it matters. So I want to make a picture of a flying creature. All right, we're gonna go flying creature. Boy, this brings back some memories, doesn't it? And go like this, flying creature.
What kind of memories does that bring back?
Because we were doing that animation. Remember that animation we did?
Mm-hmm.
Very Christmassy concept we've got going here. Yeah. We're going to put a flying creature right here. And okay, so here's what I'm going to do to make this feel like either I'm very close to it and it has that action hero kind of perspective, like the fist pump to the lens of the camera, you know, like it has that perspective. Is I'm going to make the head big. I'm going to really make it clear that I'm tapering the body, really put these little legs going back. Okay, see that angled shape pops that out. Okay, if I want this to look like it is, I'm looking at it from a distance, then I'm going to flatten the ratios out right here. I'm going to maybe make a body like this, and we're going to put little legs coming down like so. See, it doesn't have that. The size changed from the further point to the closer point. Now, whether it's a huge thing, you know, or a small thing is entirely perceived, right? This is entirely perceived. We're gonna put a huge looking thing right here because we perceive this to be a large creature, right? You know, this is perceived to be something that's very large just based on you know, stereotypes or previous experiences or judgments. But this could be a little toy figure on a nightstand. Could be. But we're going to blow out the perspective. We're going to do the chest area right here. We're going to put a little couple of talons coming off like this. You know, put another one here. Okay. Now, you can imagine a natural size for that if it was actual size, but to make this look like we are so much closer to the mouth than we are to the tail, so much closer. We don't need a number. We just need to know it's a lot. That's what we care about. We're going to go like this. We're going to put the body. We're going to put a itty bitty tail going like this. Maybe kind of squiggling off into the distance. There's got a wave in it. Then we're going to put our legs like this. Okay, some talons. Got to make them up higher to look farther away, right? There's that back leg. Here's another back leg. It's getting blocked out by that one. There we go. Now we've got perspective of something that is real dynamic. Now we need more context in the picture to really make the most of it. It looks kind of funny when it's the only thing in the picture like that. But that is the importance of context when dealing with perspective. Okay, so remember how we squished things on the horizon. When I get a shape in place and I'm really squishing things toward horizons, every one of these lines represents a gradient toward a horizon. It's kind of cool. So I can put really close together texture. See, these lines are going to be so close together. We're going to make scales, okay? Like this. But I'm going to bend them like this, putting a whole bunch of them. So see, they're like really touching as they go to that edge. I want the leg to be visible. Okay, now I'm going to cross them with the other direction. I'm going to bend it this way. Okay, this is creating an edge that has that exponential feel. Now you can do this with color. You can do it with texture. You can do it with color. If we could put a gradient that has, you know, like that gray side light that has a gradient going over, that's why those edges work well to make something 3D, because they capture the effect of the gradients being kind of like a blurry line instead of a constant change across the whole surface. Okay, now let's make the same thing happening here on this shoulder blade. And then we can get a 3D segment on our creature like this, and we bend that across here. So see, by curving my cross sections of scales, I've created this round object on the front, round object in the middle. And then this works on the tiniest little scales. Our eyes are super sensitive to this kind of pattern. It gets, our eyes can pick it up on a way smaller scale than what's practical for us to paint or draw. But I'm just going to try to throw it together to get that back leg in there. Now, you know, if I was trying to do a cleaner job with my makeshift T-Rex, I might complete these scales like that. Bring that up here. So this is where landscape perspective meets foreshortening perspective. It's all the same principle, and we're using the knowledge of edges and gradients and their exponential change to tackle this issue of perspective. This is how it looks like, just estimating and making judgments of these things on when shapes are more organic. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to try to put numbers on these things. That's a total headache. But understanding that it's true happens, you know, when you tinker with the numbers, you're like, oh, wow, this really is a mathematical principle that's helpful to know. Let's do this. See, all I'm doing is putting lines close together. Okay, so now I have this tail. Watch how I can change the perspective of that by putting things further apart. So we're going to slope our lines more like this on this section that's facing more toward me, right? We're going to go like this. Okay, then where it bends, I'll do them in segments so you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to squish them as they curve to this little edge that's like a horizon. So we'll go like, hang on. This is how I can handle perspective that's very organic. You know, it can be frustrating trying to convert that stuff to abstract shapes. Okay, now we're changing the angle like this. I changed the angle so that when I cross them, it's going to create that horizon perspective. Okay, now we're going to change the angle again when we get to this middle section. All right, now we're going to change the angle again as it swoops back the other way, like this.
So just want to interrupt this broadcast to let you know that Roundbrush has suggested if you have a PayPal link, you should put it up for Christmas donations.
Hey, nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't have that. I appreciate that, Roundbrush.
All right. Sorry, Roundbrush. Keep your money. I don't want it.
I do appreciate that very much. It's a high compliment. Okay. So this is just a demonstration on where the rubber meets the road with perspective, because if I have an understanding of this, then I can fill this in with my colors, and it gives me dials to turn. Like, it's not so overwhelming to say, oh, that looks, once it connects with your 3D perception, like this feels like a 3D thing in your mind, well, then you're just saying the neck feels too fat, the tail feels too little. And then all you're doing is adjusting these parameters because you know what to change to make them bigger or smaller. You know, it gives you dials to turn understanding this rather than trying to calculate right numbers from the start. I definitely don't try to do this with numbers. You know, it could be misleading and lead you that way because you see, I just use the numbers to show why I see this as true. All right, so let's say you're doing a house, a deck, a structure. All right, so we want to put a deck with, you know, like we want to make an inviting back porch area. We're doing a painting of some people chilling out. You know, we want to have an understanding, even if it's not in the picture, we want to have an understanding of where horizon is, because when we start making these boards on the deck, we don't want to randomly guess how much closer they get together as they go up. You know, we want to really have educated guess, not a random
Barry
guess. It's
says
educated.
cross hatching with a whiteboard marker. Nice.
That's it. Yeah, this is a very old deck. Okay, now I'm going to make the edges of this look like they would come to a point somewhere near the horizon. So we're going to go like this. Okay. And then we're going to aim these toward this point. So we got to chop those just a little bit. There we go. Now, this is just that basic understanding of how rapidly things shrink. Now, if I do it too rapidly, my deck is going to look like it curves. Because, you know, like if I really put these closer, so if you get a curved look, this is where I think a helpful tool comes up is if you sketch some lines on something like this, and you do this, and then you do this, and then you get them real close together. And it looks like it's bowed up or it's curving. That means that you shrank too rapidly. So you're like, oh, well, the fix is just to space these apart a little more than they were. And then if it looks like it's swooping up like this, that means that you didn't shrink them enough. So you can course correct based on the feel. You don't have to do numbers. So watch, equal distance like this. Okay, it feels, it just looking at it for how it feels, it's like, okay, it feels like those boards are huge, and maybe they're swooping up, or maybe it's just a feel you immediately get that you know how to fix. So then you're like, no, they need to be smaller. So in the end, I'm doing what everybody does. I'm manipulating it until it feels right. I am doing that. You know, it is intuitive manipulating until it feels right. It's just that I have familiarity with the parameters that make it change. You know, like I don't have to guess my way through what to change to get to the goal. All right. So we got a deck coming down. We're going to do stairs on our deck. We're going to go like this, point them toward that horizon, put a couple boards, make this go down, point these to our dots, make a couple boards coming down like this, put a shadow. Let's put some support boards coming down here. We want our deck to last, you know. Let's do this. Put some boards coming down this way, like this. Let's put some railing. We want it to be safe. All right, let's get closer together. We're getting further away. Get closer together, closer together. There. See how extremely close I got here compared to here? And that was just by feel. It's not because I know exactly how it should look. It's just understanding that exponential change. Right, and we're going to just estimate that it should be right there. We're going to put a board here. You don't see these because they are covered up by that one. It's an old deck. It's a very old one. You know, it's struggling, but it's seen some better times. There we go. All right. I'm going to open it up for anybody wants to talk. Anything anybody wants to talk about. This is how I implement that basic rule in all perspective without it being too complicated. It's understanding the exponential change that happens as the angle changes toward along a surface, right? Angle changes as you look along a surface. The change increases exponentially. That's it. What do you think? What do you think there, Ben?
Oh, I think that's a lot of good, useful information.
Hey, nobody sent any work in. Come on.
They must be on top of their game, dude.
Dude, and they saw what I did with the other paintings, and they were like, nah.
You know, so while you're painting, the tap on my keyboard is in response to statements like "Great Dino, love the demo, the cross hatching is a big lesson."
Good. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks. I
Brown Brush
appreciate it.
says, "You'll take my money and you'll love it." Do you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I replied, artists and their weird hierarchy of values.
Actually, I would love to take your money. I just don't have it set up. It's just a very plain answer.
Not a priority. Not a priority.
Yeah.
Clouds, highest
I guess
priority.
you're right. If it was a
Time,
priority.
second, money. And I'm going to go ahead and add to that, beneath money is maybe like personal hygiene, right? The average artist, you had to like put it in a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Values. Let me just check this.
Money.
So I'm going to give you 4 things.
Okay,
right?
let's hear it.
You tell me which of these 4 things is most interesting to you.
All right.
All right. Thing number 1, time. Thing number 2, money. Thing number 3,
time.
Pretty clouds.
Pretty
Thing
clouds.
number 4, personal hygiene.
Pretty clouds would grab my attention first, for sure.
Okay.
They would. Okay. Time. I would put time. Money. Oh, time and money. Oh, they're closely related. That's a tough one for me. Time and money are shifting my scales a little bit, but personal hygiene is next for sure. It does matter. They're all very, just so you know, personal hygiene is not a low priority.
Hey, this is a safe
We're not
place.
going to say
This is a safe place. Nobody can smell you.
It's just that there are, like, if I'm out in nature, like I'm definitely going to do the hygiene after I do those things. It will get done. It will get done, Ben.
Well, I was pretty close.
Yeah.
Cat Marine Wood says you've explained in the past that where the viewer's eye is makes a difference of this entire perspective.
It does. It changes everything. It really does. Yeah. So you move, but I don't know, when you're putting together a picture, I think paying attention to how it feels is more powerful, and then having knowledge of how to change it to feel differently is more powerful than having your mind wrapped around like the numbers you need to execute from the beginning.
Well, I guess last week or some other time, you and Jonathan were talking about like what you should do in a picture. Right?
What you should do, yeah.
Like Indeed. Versus what you want to do. Right?
Right. Maybe we were,
you said before.
That's a tough one to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a difference, what you want to do and what you should do should need some context. Sometimes doing what you want results in something less attractive to the average viewer. Sometimes doing what you want results in something more attractive.
Well, I bring that up because Leanne says,
there we go.
Actually, Round Brush says something interesting we'll touch on real quick. Time gets more valuable the more it passes. That's true. That's true. Actually, who cares why that's true? It just is.
Yeah. Who cares?
I was going to open it up, but I just realized I'm the only one that cares. Okay.
No, that's not true. People care about that.
Suggestion for next time, Leanne says, is creating point of view.
Oh, yeah, creating a point of view. Oh, I think that's fantastic. That's a really good one. Yeah,
and that on that subject matter, I think that's interesting because
yeah,
we're in a world now where making stuff is easy, but having something to say is as
hard. Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's the
and human and vulnerable as ever. And
You've talked about the importance of storytelling in your work. You've talked about that. And
well, I'm just tired of hearing about, the world's going to end and robots are going to take us over.
Meanwhile, I know. Yeah.
Like I'm like in the trenches working with all this stuff, and I'm just seeing how completely vapid and worthless all of it is.
Tell me what vapid means. I'm not familiar with that one.
like without a soul.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, right. So it's kind of like we're hyping ourselves into a frenzy here.
Well, the thing is you can make a picture. You can make any old picture you want. You can AI any old slop you want.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's going to have a point of view, as
Mm.
Leanne suggests. Creating a point of view begins with feeling.
Yeah, right. Very valuable thing. That's good. Yeah.
So, Leanne, interesting subject matter there. Creating a
Yeah,
point of
that
view.
is. That's good. I like it.
And furthermore, if you're going to get into the business of feeling, well, you're going to have some courage because it gets uncomfortable.
Man,
So,
you're right about that. Yeah. So this is why artists tend to be tormented creatures, right? Don't you agree with that?
yeah,
Because
often.
you're going around a broken world feeling everything.
Well, yeah, because the alternative is to not, right?
And you're like,
then you're just disconnected and you don't matter. And like,
yeah.
why do any of that?
Yeah. So you're stuck in this kind of ethical crux. You know, you're like, I got to feel, even though it's painful, I got to go around feeling because meaning matters so much to the feeler. You know, the person that wants to feel. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know, what are we going to do about that? I'm painting some grass blades reflecting on some water because the juvenile detention center would like something happy and green in their rec yard. And that's what this is for. This is for the juvenile detention center. So I'm using blue and orange for that foreground water. Let's see what kind of a brown I get right there. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to squiggle it a little bit. Underwater color. So, you know, it definitely doesn't match the bright green grass blade. But what's funny is it still registers as something that makes sense. Isn't that funny? So, like, I'm putting these reflections of grass blades in here. They're a bright green, and I'm making a reflection that is dark brown, which really wouldn't happen, you know, but it makes sense. You know, like it actually looks like the reflection of those things in the picture. And so I'm going to argue that the reason is because familiarity. We've seen underwater foreground reflections are largely underwater colored. That brown is underwater color. So it's like, boom, it's reflection of the grass, even though it makes no sense. It needs the green in it in order to do that. But what I can do to make that make more sense is just put little dark strips on my grass blades. I could totally do that. I'm going to put some black and yellow on there for my grass blades.
Black and yellow.
That's it. Everything I do it big.
Wiz Khalifa for your Saturday.
Yeah.
What do you think he's talking about? Black and yellow. You think he's talking about bees? Lamborghinis.
I'd go with the bees. You know?
Man, bees are hip hop. Bees are super hard.
Yeah. Oh man. That's a culture, the culture of self-inflation, you know, like, you know, it's in a lot of things, but it's abundant in hip hop. It's genre, it's style, you know, like we all have that part in us that likes to brag, and it just kind of taps into that nature. But it comes across to me as so ridiculous. So ridiculous. You know, like saying the same stuff that another guy said like years and years before you, and he's dead now, but now it's your time to be alive, and you're going to talk about how big and awesome you are before you're gone. It's just hilarious, as we're all these tiny little specks on the planet.
Hey, Carol wants to know why you're not painting Christmas trees, elves, and Santas and reindeer. And
well, I didn't want to burn it out. I didn't burn it out. You know?
Christmas things.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I burn out on that stuff.
Jingle bells and
I like
all that.
Yeah, I like holiday cheer. I like all that, but when it comes to like elves and candy canes and red and green, is I burn out. I burn out on it because it doesn't have meaning. The meaning of love and joy and family and friendship and nostalgia. It's just not in those things for me. Those are like weirdville. Like, how did we get this far? I don't understand. And this is just my opinion, just sharing my opinion. I'm not trying to ruin the.
It's true. There might be some 6-year-olds out here that are.
Yeah, we don't want to ruin Christmas, but
I was tracking with the perspective, but now you're telling me.
I'm just going to stop there. I'm just going to say that things get weird between ugly sweater contests and Christmas parties that
dude, there's a volleyball game I'm going to go try and play after this, but in order to participate, you have to be wearing an ugly Christmas sweater. So what am I going to go do? Spend $50 on a stupid sweater? I'm not going to wear it any more than
it gets over the top, man. It's funny for a while, but then I feel like I just get overloaded. Kind of like sugar's good at first, but then you realize that you can't just always do that, and I just feel overdone by the silliness,
Oof, yikes, man! Here we are ragging on Christmas right before Christmas. Let's get those numbers up.
No, it's not Christmas. I love Christmas because family comes over, we enjoy each other, we smile, we laugh. It's not Christmas. It's this particular traditions that have been tied to it that I'm not a big fan of. That's all.
Sure.
So I've got my exponential change happening on it. This is where, I pulled this out. I wanted to show when I put this on a large wall, I want a person to stand at this height, and I want them to feel like they could go far away to here. And so this will be near eye level, right? It's a hill, so I'll put it above eye level. Maybe I'll put eye level right here. I want it to feel to somebody in that rec yard like they could go have an adventure out in this green, happy looking meadow.
Yeah, Cat Marie in the Woods says it still blows my mind that black and yellow equals green. Scrambles my brain.
It's amazing. I talk a lot about shifting hues for the same reason. This is why hues shift, because when black stops light from shining out from yellow particles, it does not stop the different wavelengths of light at the same rate. That's why that's happening. We got a black that's filtering the brightness of the yellow, but it's filtering the red portion of it faster than it's filtering the green portion of it. And the reason I say that confidently, that it's not because black is actually a green hue, is because, let me turn off that phone line.
This is a beautiful ringer song.
Yeah, it is. It's really pretty. That's why I selected it, because it's inspirational digital content. I was talking about why black makes green, but that's nerd stuff. It honestly just doesn't even matter. It's so meaningless. Everything is.
It just does.
It just does. Things don't filter at the same rate. I nerd out on it, and I think it's exciting, but it doesn't stop colors at the same rate. So we end up with color shifting depending on how much that light is getting shifted. That color is getting blocked. I wanted to pull that out and show how I use that exponential change. So Leanne was talking about choosing your angle. I want it to feel like you can look down into this water. So if I were to make these ripples, if I cropped, for example, just this portion of this picture, then the amount of change, remember the whiteboard with the water ripples? The amount of change in my brushstroke size is not as extreme. But all the way from eye level to foot level, if I want a picture that feels like I'm standing in it, looking down, because it's going to be on a big wall, then I'm going to make dramatic change. So down here, I'm going to make an underwater color for an example. This is just a wide angle perspective, blue and orange to get a dark brown. So this is my underwater ripple becomes this broad shape. This is just representing, you know, these don't have to be in here, but my brush strokes are not tight, squished brush strokes down here. And this gives me wide angle perspective so that it feels like I'm looking more down here where they're very squished. We can see it on the landscape here. Here it's just, you know, it's just solid color. But where you do see brush strokes, they're staying squished there. So that extreme change causes me to either, it causes this angle to be looking down or still looking out, depending. It's like cropping a picture and then blowing it up or shrinking it down to what you want. This is the rendering, and this is my next project. This is one that I have to do. I thought I'd share it with you.
It reminds Round Brush of the Peak District in the UK.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Do trolls live there?
And Sean Gaylor
Is it like
is saying that a long-necked dinosaur would look cool in the far distance.
Man, it would look cool there. That is the truth. I'm curious if the peak, what peak district? What did you call it?
In the UK, there's a place called the Peak District.
The Peak District.
I guess because they have such huge mountains in the UK that a hill such as this is a peak.
Is it like Middle Earth? Can you find otherworldly creatures there?
Yeah, very hairy white people walking all over the place, beards down to their feet.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Robes. Everybody's into swords and stuff.
Totally. That and when we watch movies and they take place somewhere in Europe, not in the, you know, not on US soil, boy, the countryside has a look to it, doesn't it? So now we have this paradigm, like you can't shoot a medieval setting in Texas. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You got to have this kind of feel.
Although you might be onto something, if I'm being honest.
These days, you're just trying to get out of that box, right?
These days, I'm into trying new stuff, Joe. I might explore medieval.
Hey, we should make a film. I think we should make a film, Ben. I think we should do that. I think we're creative enough. We can make a cool film. I think it'd be fun. We just got to think what it'll be about. And because these days, special effects is not, like you said, special effects done. It's not even a challenge anymore. What you need is a good story, right? It just needs to be a good story.
Oh, you need a few things. That's a good idea.
A well-told story. A well-told story, maybe.
Well, you know, that's the only reason to think deeply about anything is if you plan to manipulate it and then, you know, create and share what you've done. You know, otherwise it's like understanding the mechanics and perspective and everything is cool, but like it's even cooler if you get to use it to like show perspective.
Yeah, make something. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna put this is the last thing I'm doing today. Then we're done. Okay. I realize we're over time. That's kind of the tradition, is to go over.
Putting in that OT.
Yeah, and then OT. Pine needles. Right. So the black and yellow makes a great green. Yellow first, then black gives me the backlit look. Check this out. It's a good trick. It's a good trick. Whenever you have light coming from behind, you want to get it to look like you're looking up through that canopy. It's not just flat color. If you do the yellow first, we're going to a light touch with this brush, just kind of dragging that long piece across. And then the black on top of it, which was already in the brush, kind of did it without trying there. Black on top of it. Drag right through the exact brush strokes I did so that I get, you know, distinct shapes. I'm just explaining my technique. I'm not telling you what needs to be done. Okay, then we got little pine needles. It's a fun, quick way to make these this believable lighting with basic brush strokes. Go like this. Put a few in there. You can't overdo it. If you overdo it, then you lose your differences. Everything runs together as one color. But that bright yellow really translates as backlit, illuminated foliage. Well, and then you can just put little branches going right across it. This. I just want to examine what a difference this little accent at the top of the painting is going to make in the scene. We're going to put some illuminated strokes.
What's up, newcomer FLA01003? Glad you could make it.
Good to have you. You got someone coming into the room late. That's cool.
Yeah, well, you know, the world is round.
Yeah. Whoa. Just blew my mind. That was a jump. World is round. World is round. What are we talking about?
Different time zones.
That's it. It was way more. I was like trying to put together some deep meaning in that one.
Sorry. There's a theory that the world is round. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, right. Correction. It's a good way to look at things. Speaking of perspective, my perspective on, let's just say, controversial, provocative ideas that sometimes can be offensive, sometimes annoying, sometimes threatening, they can be on. And round earth, flat earth tends to be one of those subjects. And so I'm not taking a stance. It's funny that I don't want to take a stance. I truly believe in a round earth, folks. I do. But this is where the rubber meets the road.
There's a saying that says, never wrestle with a pig because you just end up covered in,
yeah, you can finish it. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, but instead of not even talking about it, let me just offer a perspective. Let me offer a perspective that helps me to survive in a world of many opposing views. And that is, what is the belief doing for you? What is it accomplishing? What are you doing with it? Because if all it is an idea on paper and that's where it lives and that's all it does, then we don't even need to waste another word on it because it has no consequence. But if you can identify some consequence that it has, so the reason I will choose to believe in a round earth is not because I can prove that the earth is round. Like maybe if I tried hard, I could find a way to do that. It takes some resources and energy, and maybe I would fail. But my point is, when I am trying to accomplish things, the round earth understanding has helped me to accomplish them much better than a flat earth understanding. That's it. That's the bottom line. It's a model that's consistent and works. It's not that it's true. It's not that I have any way to prove it's true. It's the concept of a working model. Working model, a lost teaching in science, I think. Working models is the way we navigate and accomplish things that we want to accomplish. As we figure out, okay, well, people claim that this is true, and if this is true, then this should happen. And then we have those if-then relationships. If the world is round, I should be able to leave going west and eventually end up at this point directly east. I can measure. And then if you do that, if you go west, 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 end up there, then your model helped you accomplish a good thing, right? It's the concept of a working model. It is not a person having the truth under lock and key.
Well, the interesting thing, Joe, is I've said this before and I'll repeat it because it stands to be repeated.
Let's hear it.
Intelligence is not a prerequisite for survival.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's like, and so when you're like, when you feel that urge to say those those people looking at things this way are suffering from lack of intelligence. Who are you to say that they're suffering, right? Who are you to say that?
If somebody's path is going along just fine along their flat earth, then by all means.
That's it. Then who are you to change it? Yeah, I'm not here to change it. So I think we do better for each other. I think we help each other when we give each other the freedom to not be the knowers of truth. It's like, no, we have the model that's accomplishing what we want to accomplish. Let it be. She whispers words of wisdom.
Something interesting here. Unfortunately, gentlemen, we are living in a world of absolutes. Nobody wants to discuss possibilities, perspectives. People want to see you repeating a discourse from one side and judge you for it. It's because it's easier that way, man. Reaper, uncertainty is not comfortable for us. We like to just dilute it all down to a black and a white, a left and a right, because then it's more certain and we can feel more ease.
Now that makes sense. Yeah, now let's not get too dark. I think that's true. That is true. Reaper, that is a good comment, and I agree.
Hey, so I hear Santa's firing up his sleigh and he's warming up the engine. Turns out most of us were good boys and girls this year.
Man,
go figure. Most of
that's
us.
it. Yeah, most of us.
We finally got it together. And
thanks, Ben. That was a good turn to the writers.
A record amount of we're getting a record few amount of coal in stockings this year.
A record low number. Yeah. Well, so
it's because we're doing so well, guys.
I really have enjoyed there have been hundreds of people that I've encountered, and probably thousands online that I think are ready to not be like that. I have a lot of hope that there is a good population like Reaper is kind of promoting there. There's a lot of people that do want open-minded discourse, and I think that that's a good change. We want that. And I'm one of those people that wants that. So, I'm hopeful about it.
Yeah. That's good. Well, we need hopeful.
Yeah. Okay, it's time for us to exit this platform, Ben. Get to our Saturday.
That's right. It's great to see everybody today. Remember, you can send your stuff to share at muraljoe.com.
You can. Let's see if anything's in there. Kathy Adams sent one in. Should we look at it? Black and white. I don't know what value. That's just a typo. Value studies.
Black and white, right there.
Value studies. Long before I had any lessons on water or Bob Ross mountains, I attempted black and white only to study values and shades. I'm fascinated with forearms lately, and I see my water fails here. Oh, fail is a strong word. Let's look at that. No, that's great looking. I was going to make a joke, but it didn't come to me. That's great looking water. It doesn't fail. You know what? Some presence of reflection. I see it's choppy water, so it's hard to see reflection on that kind of water, but maybe a little bit of reflection trees. Man, I think this is amazing. That is a really good value study indeed. Beautiful work.
Yeah.
I like that bright white hat. Talking about I'm looking at a black and white picture, and I am perceiving this as a white hat. Isn't that funny? Like what? How do we know it's not bright green? It's like so you've done a good job, is what I'm saying. Good value balance. It's the comparison to the whole picture, and it happens kind of like instinctively. Obsessed with forearms, man. I hear you. Anatomy is super cool. I really get off on tangents studying different muscle structures too. I really love that. This is a cool picture.
In flea vibes. Is that flea? Let me paint flea.
Is it? It does kind of look like that. It's a base. What is that a thing to wrap up the cord on the back like that?
Um,
Curious about that.
Probably got like a wireless transmitter on his back pocket, and so he's wrapped up the.
And he moves around a lot, so it's got some slack bunched up just in case he jerks
whoever
it.
did this is probably a performing musician and has that sort of knowledge.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice. Let's look at the next one. Ah, another one. That's a cool value study. Beautiful, man. I love that you went from all the way white to all the way black. That is really cool. All black to all white. And look at the glassy reflection on that, on the face of that piano. That's really nicely done. That's cool. Man, value studies are a powerful thing. Really powerful thing. If you ever want to take a picture and get a very accurate, this only works if you have a gamma of 2.2 on your computer system. But you can take a picture like this, okay, and we can go. Let's go like this. Let's go to edit mode. Okay, mode. Edit on the app. You can put that in there, and then here's what you do: click this little plus icon. It probably doesn't work so good on your phone yet. Still working on that. Saturation. Drag it over. Click it. Drag it over. Thunk, drag it down, boom, instant black and white. And I've labored over the math to ensure that black and white is very brightness sensitive. It maintains the brightness. I think most black and white conversions are pretty accurate. So it's not, we're probably splitting hairs, but this is a very quick way to do it. If you ever want to, you don't have to open up special programs. Just go here, upload a picture, drag the saturation down. And, you can drag it up too if you want some real bright colors.
Ian's digging it. Amazing program, Joe.
Hey, thanks a lot. I'm working on it. It's, it's getting further and further every day. I prioritize color accuracy. It's my labor of love. So if you use that, you can study values in black and white versus color. And you can even saturate the colors and not have them change brightness. That's kind of fun too. Just a little promo for the app that I've been working on. All right, it's time for us to get out of here. That was a fun distraction. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The name Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, for sending that in. That was cool. Cool work to share. Let's look at Tyler's. People keep sending them in now. That's what we're doing.
Hey, that's how waves happen,
We say, okay, we're wrapping it up, folks. And then we open the inbox, and that's how we get it.
Speaking of the value of time, there's nothing like it going away that spurs us to action.
Man, nice work, Tyler. That glow looks awesome. That bright white to the more like this. This is that perfect example of a deep translucent glow. Good job with the colors. That looks awesome. Yep. And there we go. Santa Claus also brings gifts to Jesus. That's cool. Like that.
It's feeling left out,
It's
like,
it's a hard thing,
Just be kids. Meanwhile, I gotta slain lamb for all of humanity. It's a bit heavy on the child. Maybe a little toy car or something.
Yeah. At some point in history, people were like, man, we got Christmas. We got the Yule Tide celebration. We got a little bit of this light festival thing. We got elves. Where did elves come from? We got gnomes in there.
It's great. We
got a red sleigh. We got Santa Claus. In Australia, Santa Claus wears shorts, so there's discrepancy on the outfit, But
you haven't done Christmas until you've done it in Bondi Bay.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, man. Those Aussies, they get wild.
Man. So there's a special set of people that focuses on how are we going to bring these things together so that it still feels like a cohesive holiday. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Santa Claus and Jesus.
Well,
It's good. Beautiful work, Tyler. Hey, all joking aside,
excellent work, guys.
excellent painting. Thanks for sharing this. Heartwarming, beautiful lighting. Very good. Love the mood of it.
Yeah.
Thanks for
same.
sharing that. Yeah. All right. This was a blast. We had fun. We had fun.
Goodbye so
Yeah.
soon. And
We
don't
go
forget
our
to
separate
ride.
ways. Oh, you got the song. You know that song. That's a good one. Hey, maybe a segment of the show could be us singing a song
Singing.
together.
The singing painting show.
Yeah. We used
like
to do that. Everybody, we used to do that. We used to sing together.
Painting show.
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
We wrote songs, we sang, and we were in a rock band together, Ben and I. You know?
Yeah, we sure were.
It was
We
good.
sure
It
were.
was an amazing band.
This is
It
fun.
was
This
so
is
good.
an informal. This is an informal show. Let's do some informal stuff, shall we? It
Yeah.
just so happens that behind this door, I have a drawer right here. And in this drawer, right about there, I don't even have to look.
Wait, hold on. Let me close my. No, that's it. That is our album. And guess who did the artwork?
Guess who did that artwork? I'll give you a one
Nice.
guess.
Yeah. I was in high school. You know, we were into creepy looking stuff.
The people at church were very concerned for the condition
Yeah.
of Joe's soul when he produced
Yeah.
this
Yeah, they
artwork
were.
for a CD.
Yeah, it's a little bit blurry. It's hard to see. It's like a yard full of hands, like a big plane of many hands reaching up, holding these heads. That's what it is. So these are like hands reaching up, and some of the hands are kind of like
is what it is.
tugging
Just
on-
all you really need to know is it's basically all.
is reaction based, trying to get reaction. That's all it was. Fishing for reaction.
Yep, like artists often do. Anyways,
Cool. Nice, Ben. That was a good little bit of history. We got our album. Bob, the band named Bob.
Cat Marie in the Woods says they want to hear it, but I don't know if that's going to be the
It's
case.
not that casual or not that informal.
It's not that kind of a record, guys. Not that kind of a record.
No, I think you could, in good humor, we could listen to it. You know,
We were
It's,
experimental, you know.
yeah. We didn't
Very
cuss.
experimental.
Back then we didn't cuss. You know, the language is not foul. You know, it's friendly enough
No, it's
in
the
that regard.
textures that are.
It's just,
difficult.
you know, the problem is it's just tremendously embarrassing. You know,
Mm.
that's the thing you deal with. You get older and then you're looking at stuff you did that long ago and you're like, I cannot have this representing me right now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason it's not on the internet.
That's it. All right. Thanks, everybody. We really got to go. We
All
really
right.
do gotta go.
Appreciate you guys. Good job, Joe.
Thanks a lot.
Arrivederci.
Thanks a lot, everybody. It was fun. All right.